So today I'm taking the brand new Canon R out into Times Square to check out its video capabilities. Stick around. So a few months ago when I first got the Canon M50, I took it out here in the same spot, Times Square, New York City, to check out how it performed when shooting videos just like this. Hand-holding, shooting yourself, you know, vlogging, YouTube format like this. So I'll put a link to that video at the end here. But now that I have the Canon EOS R, the full-frame mirrorless camera, I wanted to see how it performed in the exact same conditions. So if you remember when I was shooting with the M50 for video like this, the autofocus was much better when shooting in 1080p full HD. When I switched it over to the 4K, even though the video was better, it was 4K video, the autofocus would hunt around. It wouldn't stay locked on me. It would try to focus at things behind me and be all over the place and be really distracting. So I'm starting this one out at full HD 1080p on the Canon R, and I want to see how this works. You know, trying to keep myself focused, stay on myself, see how the lighting changes, see how the exposure changes as I walk around here in and out of the shadows. I'm using the Canon 24-70 zoom lens at 24 millimeters. It's the widest autofocus lens that I have, so I'm definitely going to use that for this. The aperture is set to 2.8, and what this should do as I'm walking around is it should keep focus on me, and the wider aperture should probably blur the background a little bit, make it look nice back there. But the primary thing is keeping focus on me and maintaining exposure as I walk around here in and out of sunlight. Now let me show you how I'm set up here. I'll take a picture of this. So you can see I'm just holding the lens in my hand. When I was shooting with the M50, I was using the GorillaPod as almost like a selfie stick. It's actually this setup here, the Canon R with the 24-70 lens, is too heavy to be used with the GorillaPod like that. It gets very top heavy, it gets very unstable. So I'm just holding on to the lens, making sure I don't hit the autofocus ring too much, but just hand holding onto the lens like this works just fine. And then later on, I'll just shoot a little bit of video of some scenes and some things around here, just so you can see the quality of the video, what it looks like. But let me switch over to 4K now and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so now I'm shooting at 4K, and the first thing you should notice is the cropping, is the framing. 4K uses a smaller section of the sensor, so the cropping is going to be a lot tighter on this. And even at 24 millimeters, and I have a pretty long arm, this is as far away as I can get. This is how much I'm going to be filling the frame at 24 millimeters. So the big issue shooting 4K on the M50 was the autofocus. It would just jump around all over the place. So this should stay locked on me. It may jump around like the M50. It'll be really interesting to see how that works on this camera. But my arm's getting tired. This is a much heavier setup, a much heavier rig. I've been holding this for only about 5-10 minutes or so, and my arm is already getting pretty tired. So let's see how this works when I walk out into the sun here. Let's see how the exposure changes. It should pretty much compensate for itself pretty quickly, and it should retain focus on me. Let's see how that looks. So I switched back to 1080p. You can see it's much wider now. The field of view is much wider at 1080p at 24 millimeters. The autofocus on the 4K I found was much better than on the M50 as far as keeping me locked in. So, you know, that might be something that on the R camera, that on the Canon R, we'll be able to use a lot more often, the 4K. But really, I find that for what we've been doing for these YouTube videos, for vlogging like this, just talking head stuff, you really don't need more than 1080p anyway. Really gives you really high quality. If you're going to be shooting stuff, you know, scenery and landscapes and things like that, or something where you're going to be behind the camera controlling the focus more, then the 4K is great for that. But as far as what we're doing here, these videos, 1080p is more than enough. The autofocus has been really great, the exposure has been really great, but like I said, with the R, it does seem like it's even better as far as that goes than the M50, so maybe that's a little bit of something we can get more into, shooting with 4K using the Canon R. I'm going to switch back to 4K, shoot some scenic stuff, shoot some things, you know, around the city here, just to get you a sense of what it looks like. But so far, you know, the video quality on this Canon R camera seems really, really good. I would say so far better than the M50. It'll take, you know, a little bit more analyzing when I get it on the computer, when I can see it on the screen to see what it really looks like, but it's really high quality. The autofocus is really great, and being able to shoot at 4K and retain that autofocus might be a really good thing. so far that looks pretty good. I'm going to put the link here to the video that I did with the M50 in the same location, so you can check that out. And I'm going to put another video here with Bill and I, basically our first impressions of the Canon R camera, so you can check that out also. Also, subscribe, and thanks for watching.